Good morning, everyone. Well, it's morning here in Central Time Zone. Good afternoon, those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to everyone on the Mount and Pacific. I'm so sorry, Black Anonymous. I've been struggling to get up this morning, um, and getting the dog out, walking him, trying to get this thumbnail and all this other stuff together. And this is not going to be my last video on this because I downloaded the Supreme Court decision, and I'm gonna go over some things in another video. But today, I just wanted to give just my initial thoughts I had of this yesterday, and my thoughts today. So just letting you know, I hope y'all can see me. I mean, not see me, hear me. Um, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yesterday, just before I get on with everything else, yesterday I underwent a procedure called EDG. Those are the three letters. It's like it means it stands for esophageal gastroendoduodenum procedure. Okay, and I just call it EDG. And people get them for anything that's related to their stomach, intestines, esophagus, anything like that. So with that procedure, I had to go under anesthesia. So uh, I went over that yesterday. So yesterday, when I wanted to come on and tell y'all what happened, I couldn't because one, they got to pre-op you for it. So, and then um after you're when you go through the procedure, you get knocked out, and then like once it's over with, you're still in a bit of a fog. Like I couldn't drive home. My friends had to come pick me up. I actually took an Uber there, so I wouldn't have to drive there, and they wouldn't have to drive my car back. So I took an Uber there. You check in. You get in, you get in the hospital bed. You have put on the different clothes and stuff like that, and they start hooking up the different IVs to you, because they had to get a blood sample. Oh, also to get a urine sample. So I got the restroom and pee in a cup, and then I got like three different things sticking inside me, so they can send all the fluids or whatever in there, and then I got the little things they put on your chest. I guess they're trying to read your heartbeat and all the kind of stuff. So I have that going on. So I couldn't literally come on and like, hey y'all, I'm in the hot. I couldn't do none of that. And then once I got knocked out, I'm telling you right now, I had dental oral surgery to get my wisdom teeth removed, and they gave me some good anesthesia then. Every time I took that, because I did one side, okay, whatever. So twice I had to go to the oral surgery for the wisdom teeth. One side and the other side. Okay, so like when they give you the stuff, they tell you to count back. Hey, Money Lock channel. So they tell you to count back, and then like you're knocked out, and then 15 minutes later they're telling you, wake up, Miss Chandler. I said my name. Oh, okay, whatever. Okay, forget that. All right, so this time I asked them. I said, hey, is the stuff you guys giving me today, is that better than when I got the oral surgery? The man was like, yes. I'm telling y'all, they put that thing in my face. They told me to turn to the side because the little endoscopy scope has to go down your esophagus. And I'm telling y'all, I kept thinking like, when is this stuff going to start? And next thing you know, I was asleep and I woke up 5 minutes later. I said, damn, they done? Girl, boys and girls. It was a whole hour later. I'm in like the little recovery room. I started coughing. My eyes was blinking. So I wasn't in the mood I wasn't in the predicament to make a video. And like, this is the thing. That's why I'm saying this are my initial thoughts. Because while I'm in getting this done, right? I woke up yesterday morning, getting ready, getting dressed, and I'm listening to, I think I listened to Eyes, Antonia, and then Sector TV. Thank y'all. Shout out to y'all. Well, I was trying to get dressed yesterday and also wait on them to get to be my turn to get this. Hey, Summer Queen. So I'm looking at like, the stuff from the videos. They're like, oh, Roe versus Wade is overturned. And I was like, wait, what? Where was the Ray been in existence since what, 1972, 74? I said, maybe they got this stuff wrong. So I'm like looking for like articles that are saying, I'm seeing a couple of short videos. And I said, maybe I shouldn't be watching this right now when I'm going to do this procedure. So, but still, I'm looking for the actual paper or article saying what their decision is. And I was able to go, I follow, on Twitter, I follow SCOTUS blog. And SCOTUS blog had a link to the decision. So I downloaded that. I will be going over that probably tomorrow. Hopefully it's like every day I'm less and less in a fog. Okay. And because they not only overturned Roe v. Wade, they also overturned Casey versus I think it's Casey versus Planned Parenthood. And I have to go into like why they're doing that. So, and I also got a map of the different parts of the country where abortion rights, are easy, restricted, or none at all. So, but anyway, so I'm watching this, I'm looking at that, and I'm like thinking to myself, here I am in this bed waiting on this procedure where someone has to basically, they're taking the endoscopic scope down my throat to look at my stomach, my chest, my esophagus, my stomach, to see if there's something wrong. Hey, LMSYT presents. And I thought to myself, what if I was getting a different procedure yesterday? What if I was a woman with an unwanted pregnancy, lying on a table in a room waiting to get an abortion as this ruling is happening? Now, if I'm in a state like California, it's fine, But there are other states where like it's prohibited, like they literally are prohibiting abortions. My state is restricting it, saying you can't have any past 6 weeks, which before Roe v. Wade got overturned, it was 12 weeks. So I'm just like, you can still get abortions. Say, no, that's how it should have always been. Why do you want the federal government to have any say so whatever your body choices? To be That's a really good question. This is the thing too. Didn't the states also had segregation laws that regulated people's bodies, or at least movement of bodies? And you have to realize that prior to 1972, prior to Casey and prior to Roe v. Wade, women had to get their husband's permission to even get birth control. Risky opinions. The Democrats of today are not the Democrats of then, and the Republicans of that time period are not the Republicans of now. Okay. Also, certain states, like prior to Roe v. Wade, like a husband and a wife, like literally, I guess they go in and get birth control or whatever. Women had to get their husband's permission. Red Gulf. I'm not here to. That's a whole nother video I'm gonna do. Okay, and I'm talking about my initial thoughts. Yes, that's what I'm also concerned about, because I was reading where and people have their opinions about Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger, stuff like that. But when Margaret Sanger founded Planned Parenthood, it wasn't providing health care or abortion services. It was more or less for information, because she felt like, oh, all the upper and middle class women know how to not have so many children. The immigrant, minority, and poor working class women do not. So that's why she was wanting to speak with Black ministers, even members of the KKK, so that they can then, because those are the leaders in those people's community, and they can let the women know, like, hey, this is something that y'all should know about. Like, she even got arrested for like passing out pamphlets and stuff like that. And yes, she did have some eugenics ideas and things like that toward a later part in her life. But once Planned Parenthood became like an actual health organization, she was not like sitting on the board or anything, making any decisions about that. Red 5 Gulf, I am a history teacher. I'm telling you something that I'm talking about, and I can get into that another time period. What I'm trying to say is, hold on, y'all. I got my Cheerios. Exactly, because there are states that are saying, sorry, there are states that are saying, even in cases of rape or incest, they're like no to an abortion. Risky opinions is because I can read things and think critically, and I've read uh, information about Margaret Sanger, and not just stuff that people who are pro-life or who are like some hoteppers want to say about Margaret Sanger. And even Planned Parenthood today have distanced themselves and said they've rejected her ideas about eugenics. They've renamed one of the buildings. They took her name off one of the buildings because they realized, like, hey, she did have these ideas. However, her idea about informing or having uh, lower class, minority, immigrant women who, at the time period that she was living in, having 10 or more children and working inside and outside the home, for them to have access to the same reproductive health care as upper middle class white women. Is that so wrong? I don't agree with her shit about eugenics. I ain't gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna get into about RBG not being racist. Man, come on. Let's stay on topic. Hey, Christine. But what I'm trying to say is, even though I was going through an endoscopic, I was doing the EDG yesterday. It made me think, like, empathetically, what if I was in a different position yesterday, and I'm in a different state, or I'm in still in Texas, because there's actually states more restrictive than Texas and Oklahoma, you know. Um, and let's say it was past 6 weeks, or say it was rape or incest. Would the doctor have to come in there and tell me, like, okay, Miss, let me see your transcript. We can't give this to you today because the Supreme Court just made this ruling. So we don't need you to do. We're not gonna do it today. Actually, I have none read 5 Golf. Okay, I'm really getting tired of people saying that too. Okay, I'm gonna say this to y'all, cause Lord, I can't. Thank you, Summer Queen. Thank you. Okay, all right. So now I said the police were starting a search for my house is working. I shouldn't call the police. Okay, y'all. Let me just say something. Okay, slave patrol was slave patrols, y'all. Those were slaves. Those were volunteer people in the community, mostly slave owners. Probably any white man can be overseer. They routinely, because they feared the rise of slave uprisings, routinely would go on patrol. Okay? So I need y'all to understand that. That is not the first police. Police. Okay? You have to understand, places in the north and places in the west, they had police who would patrol. And they were not patrolling for slaves. I'm just okay, all right. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, Black and Ops. You were helping me out. No, it doesn't. Actually, it restricts my rights. Okay. Sorry, my cereal. Hold on. Oh, okay, okay, all right. Thank you, Black and Mono. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm okay. Let me just ask a question. Right, Christine. I'm sorry. How does it give us more rights? Because their opinion said. Because I read. I'm just letting y'all know right now. That's why I'm saying I might do a whole other thing just on their opinion, their document, because the whole opinion was 213 minutes, 213 pages. And then they give you a summary at the beginning that was 8 pages. So I only went through 8 pages to figure out what was their rationale. And remember, there are 9 justices. 5 of them, it only takes 5 of them to make a decision. And 4 of them wrote a dissenting opinion. So this is why I'm saying I'm side-eyeing the whole overturning, because there was a reason why someone leaked the preliminary opinion. They're like, "Oh, I need to get these people ready, because this is for to be some stuff." Okay, so this is the thing. In their opinion, they said, "Oh, Roe v. Wade and Casey are making a presumption that abortion is a right," and basically they're saying was that, "Oh, those justices overstepped their bounds. This is actually something that should be regulated by the states and by the people who elect congressmen to those states." So I'm like, okay, so I see what's going to happen in the next midterm elections, which is this year. In the next 4 years election, you're going to have some people who are going to be running for office with the design set to get to their state congresses and create a new law that takes away from the previous law that restricted abortion rights. Or you're going to have people who are running for Congress to make so they can be elected to their state to make more restrictive abortion rights. So my thing is, it's not going to be this fight, this Supreme Court decision is not going to, it's not going away. Right, correct. No, I think they leaked it because they really wanted to give people the heads up about the decision. Like, and you know what? We should have really had any connection of where they were going, because the 2 days before they said, "Oh, you don't need a real reason to carry a gun. New York, your law is messed up. People can open carry anywhere." So I'm just like, "Oh, okay, so we can carry a gun anywhere that may kill someone's life who's not in the womb." But y'all say um, abortion is not a right. But then again, hey, Second Amendment says right to bear arms. But if you want to look at it, a strict constructionist view of that, it said Militias. It didn't say people. But what I'm getting at, people, when I was in that hospital, I just kept thinking to myself, what if I was getting a different procedure? What if I was a 16-year-old girl who was molested? What if I was a 21-year-old graduate student who was raped on campus? Okay. Um, what if I was a wife with an abusive husband and I already got 3 kids with him? Right. And I think what's going to end up happening is, like my friend, he's very right the other day, he said, elections have consequences. So remember all the, liberal people that were more active who came into Congress at the midterms and in 2020 when former President Trump got in. It was like that was our check on him. And then the course was a check on what he was doing. And then so now when he lost, now that mobilized his people to pass laws um, in opposition to who is now the Democrats who have a majority in Congress and a Democratic president. So now they're all passing, all these red states are passing laws trying to basically thumbing their nose at the federal government, like, oh, well, we're for states' rights and we're going to pass these restrictive laws. Red 5 Gold, you can have a difference in opinion than us, but you don't have to be rude. Like I said in my description, this is my historical and educational commentary. My title said my initial thoughts and my current opinion. So yesterday I was looking like, okay, what is going through that woman's mind at the time? And I'm like, I feel like some people in this country, they care more about unborn fetuses than they care about people who are outside of the womb. And at the same, and then the same thing. That's that Brobert girl. Right, right. That's true. But I feel like this: something's going to happen with one of these states who has a case, and the court may end up hearing this again. See, that's what I meant, Black Anonymous. Depending on where you were, there was a woman, whether she was a rape victim, molest victim, abused housewife. Maybe it was a married couple who were told by their doctor, like, hey, we see some complications. You are 8 months pregnant, and it's either you or your child. We got to make a decision. Some states come out, oh, you can't have a late term abortion. That's between you and your doctor and your husband. Like, why is the state telling you to do that? Okay. Okay. Black and I'm saying some clinics had to cancel appointments, and then now Red got Ruth saying no clinics. Well, how do y'all know? You know something, Christine? That actually may be a good idea because did you know that some states and some communities they're saying that if you're a pharmacist, right? You're a pharmacist and you don't believe in abortion. Let's say you don't believe in birth control, right? Because you're free, fruitful, and multiply. And a woman comes in, her doctor has prescribed for her Plan B. Do you know that pharmacist, because of their First Amendment rights, can deny you access to that? And you have to go find another pharmacy. And I'm trying to think, like, damn, when did someone else's First Amendment rights trample my right to equal access and healthcare? Red 5 group. Yes, they can, depending on if you're in a red state, like the one I'm in, unfortunately. Let me see. I saw that on MSN, that part in Missouri. Oh yeah, oh damn, Missouri shit. Yep. And that's why I'm saying somebody's child who was molested and they're trying to get an abortion. That case is going to go. They're gonna hear this again. This is not the end of it. This is not the end of it. Somebody who's gonna get denied from getting a late term abortion to save their wife's life. Somebody for to sue somebody. It's going back up somewhere. Okay. The plan B, like you said, plan B. Some people, and this is the thing about plan B. Plan B is, well, according to a lot of pro-lifers, is an abortion pill. Okay. Now, that's according to pro-lifers. Now, what the plan B pill does, let's say the condom broke, rape, incest, whatever. Within 3 days, you have to get this plan B pill. So basically, it's stopping, from what I read now, I can read again. It stops basically the sperm from reaching the egg. Right? So a lot of pro-lifers like, oh, that's an abortion. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm saying. Just like with the what happened with the gay marriage. Like when gay marriage came about, and they're like, oh, and there are people like, no, it's against my religion or whatever. And these people working in these public government places, and two people of the same sex came in to get a marriage license, and they're like, no, I'm sorry, it's against my religion for gay people to be married, so I'm not giving you your thing today. And I'm just like, and in some places the government's saying, like, yeah, that person has the right to deny them because that's their First Amendment right. But it was like, but wait, you're denying them the 14th Amendment right. You have access to this. So it's like, so what ended up happening was people started losing their jobs. And then other people who were like, oh, I'm going to run against you and I'm going to get your job. So what? Right. And I think that's what's going to happen. There are going to be people who are going to run for office, or they're going to put their money behind candidates and behind uh legislation to be passed to lobby these Congress people to change laws. But what also we're going to have is people, women, maybe some men who taking their women to another state where they have easier access, or back alley abortions like they had, or we might have what they call it, infanticide. Yeah, I'm thinking Red 5 Gulf and Risky Opinion. Dude, this video is about abortion too. You think that babies cost money? Babies cost money. Hell, my deductible was outrageous, but I had to get it now. Once that baby here, you need Pampers, baby wipes, clothes, what's it, a bassinet or a crib, a stroller. If you gotta work, you need a babysitter, or maybe you're gonna stay home. That may be a lost income. I'm like, unless you get a job that's at home. Okay, some of y'all are not under. I think some of y'all, because y'all don't have a vagina or a uterus or an extra X chromosome. Some of y'all are being real. This is why I'm saying I'm side eyeing some of y'all's opinions, because some of y'all are like some of the Republicans are celebrating. Woo woo. Roe v. Wade is turned over. Abortion is no longer here. It's still here. And just like the documentary, I need to watch the documentary on HBO. It's called The Janes, and these were women in Chicago providing safe abortions for women who couldn't get them. They had a whole network, and I'm like, this is some Janes for the return. Okay. My aunt, my mother, she was a very, very safe lady. She wouldn't talk to Illinois is the same from Missouri. You can be an incel and a misogynist. Did you specifically come over here to talk to me about this? And CNN is not the only thing I watch. There are other people who have much. There's Reuters, there's PBS, there's MSNBC. Occasionally, I'll turn to Fox, but then it's always like, oh, y'all said the same thing yesterday today. It's occasionally Fox will have somebody on there who may have some sense though, but they don't keep them long. Okay. All right. I'm gonna need someone, please. Take care of Red 5 Gulf. I said we can have a different opinion, but you ain't gotta be rude. So now First you said dumb, now you said simple brains. Okay, talking about schoolyard insults. Wow. So I need a moderator to send him to the block party. Risky opinions. Do you need to go with them too? Red 5 Gold. You were throwing them first now. Let's be honest about some stuff. Let's be honest now. Okay. Sorry, but I'm back. Risky opinions. You make it seem like some people can't pay attention to two or more things at one time. I'm paying attention to inflation. I'm paying attention to these hearings. I'm paying attention to the abortion rights. I'm paying attention to the guns. Like, damn. Also, that's why there are certain people who are experts on different things. Right now, what I'm talking to you today is about empathy. I was empathizing. I still empathize with women yesterday. I was getting a simple EDG. I am 44 years old. I've never had an abortion. Yes, I have been on birth control. But I am not going to sit there yesterday and say, well, if they don't want to get an abortion, they should just get on birth control. There are lots of types of birth control out there. There are also instances where it's about access. Okay? Guess what? When I was in college, about to go to college, I went to the Planned Parenthood and got a Depo-Provera shot. I didn't go there for an abortion. Most of the services offered by Planned Parenthood are not abortions. But yes, there are abortion clinics. So when people are like, oh, Margaret Sanger this, and this is what Planned Parenthood wants to stop babies, that's not even most of that's not most of their goddamn services. Thank you, ladies. That's what I'm saying. Like, some people say, oh, abortion is not healthcare, abortion is not birth control. Yeah, it is. He need to be worried about that wife being brought up over the January 6th and that forcing his ass to get to resign. Cause I'm ready for Biden to appoint another black woman. Matter of fact, forget about it. Okay, we got a white lady, Hispanic lady, and a black lady. Let's get an Asian lady. Mm-hmm. We need some more people with 2 X chromosomes on that cord. Thank you. By the way, men can also go to Planned Parenthood. They also have STD, STI services. They also get well woman's exams. Thank you, Summer Queen. Thank you. And that's the thing. It's like, that's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, what if one of my students came up to me crying? You know, date rape on college campuses is real. Teenage pregnancy is real. Okay? All right? And people are not understanding it. You're restricting something like, say, oh, well, the state should be in charge of that. Okay. The state's also in charge of education. But guess what? Every state ain't got the same equal as education, now do they? But the court had to come in and say, hey, y'all can't keep separating black and white students in the same school. I'm sorry, they said you can't you can't have separate schools for races. Everybody is public school. Everybody going to the damn same school. Please hit the like button. And my thing is this. Have you noticed there's been quite a few Republicans who are pro-family? You found out that they have been cheating on their wives. They have mistresses. A couple of them wanted the mistresses to get abortions. So you don't tell me about... And then what about that bro break girl? They said she don't have 3. Y'all ain't trying to drag her out the court, are you? Out of the Congress? You see Herschel Walker saw in material. Herschel Walker got 3 other kids and nobody knew about. And he's trying to see unseat Reverend Raphael Warnock of Georgia. Ain't that some shit? But now Republicans don't want to talk about that. But y'all was pro-family. Mm-hmm. But then again, y'all elected a president with 5 kids and 3 baby mamas and bad credit. But okay. who held up a Bible upside down in front of a church that was closed during the pandemic. But okay. All right. It's only conservative values when it benefits you. But when you need an abortion, okay? All right? You want to get quiet. Did y'all know that, what's her name? Sarah Palin, when she was governor of Alaska, decreased the amount of money geared towards like education to stop like teenage pregnancies, and then her own goddamn child had a teenage pregnancy. Then the fucking irony, she was on campaign trail with her daughter, and then they had the baby daddy that's that's her fiance. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Now, do I think some women are irresponsible? Yes. Does that mean they shouldn't have access to an abortion? No, they should have the same access. Mm-hmm. Exactly. You're saying like, oh, the federal government overstepped its bounds, and the state and its people should decide on whether or not how they decide on abortion. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, guess what should have happened this year at election time? All right. People should have put their money behind causes and candidates and lobbying. Okay. All right. Hey, Betty Yellick, Digital Logic, Summer Queen, Christine Parks, Black Anonymous, D. Jones. So happy to see you. But yeah, I'm just saying, I was really scared yesterday for those women because I kept looking at myself like, wow, I'm in a hospital. Like, what if I was in their predicament? You know? And I saw people out there protesting, which I don't blame them, you know. Then I saw, the president made, different elected officials, they were making their statements yesterday. But then, and of course, Pelosi and the president, they're lamenting what's happening. And, but then to see smiles on the faces of these Republicans, like, wow, you're smiling? Right. Hey, Holmes, Erica. Right. Digital Logic, you ain't right. He said Trailer Park Alaska today. Hit the like button, y'all. Please like, share, subscribe. And if you feel so inclined, there's my Cash App, because that deductible is high as hell. Yeah. So that's what I don't understand. And you know what? I'm hoping somebody. This is what part of me I hope. I hope somebody sue somebody about wearing their damn mask, and I want them to go up there to the Supreme Court and says, "Well, y'all did say." Like, I want y'all to. I want, because they were like, "Oh, it's my body. I can do what I want to." I'm like, isn't it the same thing with being pro-choice? Like, Oh, my job, y'all can't make me wear a mask. Y'all can't make me get vaccinated. It's my body. And I'm just like, that's what I'm saying. That I'm side-eyeing it. Y'all think y'all won. Y'all laughing. Y'all, the fight ain't over. The fight ain't over. Last, I think it was it Wednesday? The ruling came out about um they struck down that New York law, and they're like, oh, this is really great for people who support the Second Amendment. Guess what? Congress right now, U.S. Congress, is proposing a new gun rights bill. So guess what? This Congress can also do? Write a law about abortion rights, being pro-choice. And guess what's going to happen? If somebody don't like it, it's going to go back to the dance. It's going to go back to the court. The fight ain't over. Hey, Mrs. VSNC09. So, but like I said, it's not over. One thing, I think it was either risky, whatever, or the other guy said, they were right. It's not going to stop abortions. However, it's going to increase probably more illegal abortions, um, abortions that are probably not medically safe. People gonna be going to different states. Okay, some people, like I said, um, may be taking someone to an abortion or helping them to get one. Looking on the internet, trying to figure out how to have one at home. I mean, the midwifery is coming back into effect. I'm telling y'all that they had James back in the day. The James are gonna come back. I'm just saying, it's not. And I'm just saying, I'm trying to make y'all understand. Y'all saying like, oh, it's just irresponsible people, but you have to understand what the abortion restrictions like before what Casey versus Planned Parenthood and before Roe versus Wade. Women couldn't even get birth control without their husband's consent. And if your husband was an abusive person, you did not have access. That's denying you equal treatment under the law. When the pill came out, and you're like, oh, I just pop a pill and I won't get pregnant. And see, that's another thing. Wasn't there somebody? I have to look it up. Was it Alabama? I think someone actually had miscarried, right? And I think they were trying to charge her with murder because I don't know if a crime was being committed or if they happened to be in the car or something. And I'm just like, are y'all seriously trying to survive with murder who had a miscarriage? I said, oh, see, yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is not over. You see what the pro-life has been doing since 1972. Was it 1972? When Roe versus Wade got decided. It ain't over. Thank you. Right? Some of the is to regulate periods. Now, in some states, because they were trying to restrict, you got to get a teenager got to get a parent consent, which I thought, well, of course, they have to get parent consent. Then again, I thought about like, oh, there's some parents that will probably either kill their kids, beat them, if they found out that they were having a baby. And this is my thing. What if you, like I said, it's a life or death situation, and they're like, oh, 72-hour wait. Like, come on. Let's say a husband and wife, 8 months pregnant, needs to have a late term abortion. Because there are some states where it's like, oh, late term abortions are illegal. That should be up to the doctor and the husband and wife, right? And they're like, oh, you got to wait 3 days. Well, what if the doctor's like, you can't wait 3 days. You need to do this today. And I think also part of it is wanting them to be self-righteous. Oh, we're pro-family, we're pro-this, we're pro-that. The same people who are pro-life are the same ones that are okay with capital punishment. The only people that I ever hear that were like pro-life and anti-capital punishment are Catholics, Catholic Church. You'll see like them at a uh when was the last time you saw some evangelicals who were pro-life and anti-capital punishment? When? I'm just saying. Everybody cares about the baby before it gets out the stomach, but you don't care about it once it's here. Oh, we're representing the unborn fetus. But if you hear those same people talk about pregnant migrants who come to this country, they don't have that same rhetoric. They don't have that same rhetoric. So I just, yeah. And then there's people like, oh, y'all just put the baby up for adoption. Okay, how many Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitts, Madonna, Charlize Theron, and Sandra Bullock out there is for adopt some black babies or some brown skin Hispanic Latino babies? There's a lot of kids aging out of the foster care system. Y'all remember that girl Kakera that is at the Christ Apostolic Church of Hannibal, and she talked about um getting molested and raped by her foster brother, and she had 2 kids for him. 2. Then her own father, when she finally met him, did the same thing to her. That was incest. And you also think about certain religions. People keep saying the social pressure not to have one. So not only are you have, you know, teenage girls who may be molested or young girls made victims of date rape, okay? Uh, Physical abuse by their husbands. You got whole churches like, nah, you can't have an abortion. You going to hell. You doing this, And their argument, Star McQueen, is always like, well, Margaret Sanger was a racist, and she just Planned her Parenthood is designed to kill black babies. Y'all don't care about no goddamn black babies. Y'all don't, because once they're born, you don't care. Okay? You don't care. Because it shows in your speech and your rhetoric. What do people say when you see a black woman or Hispanic woman with 3 or 4 kids or more than that? What do you hear people say? Right. I always want to talk about less government, but then we're like, oh, the federal government overstepped its bounds. Well, guess what, state government? Y'all overstepping y'all bounds too. That's what I'm saying. Anya, it ain't over. It ain't over. I know some of them got was it rearges? Are they taking money out of their account? I don't know if you can do a class action lawsuit against SCOTUS. I wonder, could you do a class action lawsuit against a state though? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Please help her sisters out on her deductible. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. It's just the contradictions and stuff. It's just either that they need to start matching. They need to start a program where they match up all these people who can't have children with the people who got extra kids. Or something. I'm just being facetious on that point. Please don't try to say that's gonna solve everything. I'm just saying. And then they're saying, like, a reading report, like other countries are expanding reproductive rights, and we're increasing it. Some of these people talking about they pro-life. You ain't pro-life. You pro-life for certain things that affect you. Mm-hmm. So, that was my initial thought, my current opinion, and my current opinion. No, I've never had an abortion. Yes, I've had birth control. I support a woman's right to choose what to do for her body. Most Planned Parenthoods are in areas where there's easy access. They may say a hospital, but states are trying to restrict, you know, the availability, the locations of getting, you know. So, Queen. I mean, you're right. A lot of women need to do that. And I'm gonna say something to that too. If the dude you with already got multiple kids and he don't take care of them, he not gonna take care of yours either. Just so you know. Okay? All right? I'm just letting you. Now I will say this: there are some men that they talk some good game now, and it may have you doing some. I'm just saying right now. This is this is what I'm gonna say. The reason why my family got me on birth control before I went to college was, uh, at the hairdresser, my cousin heard the hairdresser say, "Oh, my daughter went to college too, but she had to leave because she got pregnant." They didn't want that to happen to me. But mind you, my mother didn't have that conversation with me about going to get it. It was my cousin and my aunt who did. All right. So we're gonna have to be really we're gonna have to really be honest about some things. You don't want anyone having an abortion, then you need to have real conversations with your teenager and your teenage sons about birth control. The schools are only doing so much. I'm telling you right now. Middle school, we had to take health class. They had the HIV and AIDS presentations. After a while, I got sick of it. But guess what? Hey, I'm 44 years old. I don't have any kids, and I don't have HIV or AIDS. So I'm like, oh, I guess something sunk in, right? You know, the schools is paying for the money. Same thing in high school. Again, took health class, HIV, AIDS, STI, where it comes. And one time they in high school they even went farther than this. That's why sometimes I tell my friends about something, they're like, "What is that called?" I said, "Yeah, y'all ain't never heard of that." It's because different types of uh uh sex education. Okay, high school, we had a person come in and they're like, "Oh, this is the reason why you need to uh boys to wear a condom, girls, you need to tell boys to wear a condom." It was like, y'all just can't depend on a boy to have a condom. You need to have your own, right? And boys need to ask a girl about birth control. Don't just assume she's on it when she says she's on it. My mom was the one, like I said, very holy, holier than thou. She did not have those conversations with me. But my aunt, who kept it real, and my cousins who kept it real, they were like, they would tell me stories about what happened to women in the family. And then my aunt was one, was it my aunt or my cousin, who took me down there to Planned Parenthood. But that's me. How many of us parents we needed you to step up to? Look what happened to Sarah Palin. She's over there somehow she's pro life, she pro this, and your whole fucking daughter had a baby. What? Because you know why? You tell your kids, oh, abstinence. And there are states and counties, whatever, they're abstinence only. Abstinence is one of many birth control choices. It's not the only one. Yeah, you can get pregnant on your first time when you're young. Heck, there are women in their 30s and 40s having babies too. They're like, dang, I thought I couldn't have any. You know? But if you're gonna start dating, or seeing someone, males and females, men and women out there, heterosexuals, homosexuals, people on the LGBTQ spectrum, even you asexuals who may slip up, you need to wear a condom. Someone needs to wear a condom. Because it's not just for STDs and STI, it's for pregnancy too. Okay? The condoms and being on the pill or the Depo-Provera and all that kind of stuff, that's cheaper than Pampers and clothes. Okay? Crib, stroller. That pull-out game don't always work. So I heard. That's why you on the pill. That's why you on this. Right, thank you. Even like during segregation times, pre-Brown, after Brown. Heck, right up until Roe v. Wade. States were having these laws and they were very restrictive. It wasn't consistency. What Sam McQueen? I had a long talk with my 18-year-old son yesterday. He had a new girlfriend named Sapphire. Is her real name Sapphire? Sam McQueen, you need to let him know that he can go to the Planned Parenthood too. They give out free condoms and pamphlets and information. Just letting you know. Said the blood came to work. Lord have mercy. Thank you, Black Anonymous. That too. No means no. If the girl says no, okay, you heard no, you stop. Because I don't want any boys getting caught up. If she asks you, do you got a condom? You need to make sure you got one. And if you don't have one, you're like, well, do you have one? Because don't trust, oh, yeah, I'm on a pill, I'm on birth control. And girls, don't trust, oh, I'm going to pull out. No. Oh, thank the Lord you did. And did you tell him he needs to have a conversation with Sapphire? And by the way, there are women who put stuff in your drinks too. Oh, and be careful about this, fellas. There are Betty yelling, you need to stop. They need to do more than to keep their legs closed. Okay? That's abstinence. That's a choice. That's one choice. But also get on some birth control and have your own set of condoms. And be careful who you choose to be your partner. That's for men and women. Oh, you had a conversation with Sapphire? Oh, okay, good. Did it seem like her mama had a conversation with her previously? Yeah, because you don't want no grandchildren right now. My friend Darren Moore, happy birthday to Darren Moore, today's his birthday. He told he said he talked to all his sons about you know, having protection and not, having kids early. He said he told them, he said, yeah, you come back here with a baby if you want to. The baby gonna have your bed and you gonna be on the floor. So that baby gonna have the best, but you gonna have to go figure some stuff out. I believe him too. I believe him. She's a sweet girl. She got the message. Okay, good. Cause y'all remember that thing in Boys in the Hood when Ricky was it his girlfriend, his wife? She had a baby, and I think she was talking to the girl, talking about you need to make sure you on birth control. He don't need no more babies around here. And I was like, oh shoot. But she was right though. She was right. Also, if you're in a relationship with someone and they say, "Oh, I don't want," you're my only person I'm with, and they don't want to use condoms, or whatever. Um, Ask them some questions. Did you both go down there and take a STD test? Like I said, men and women can go down to the Planned Parenthood and take them tests to check yourself out. And do you trust them that much? They're not gonna step out on you with somebody else and bring you back a disease. In high school, they had a lady come for a presentation. I'm telling you, they were shoving it down our throat. Now, did that stop some of my classmates from coming up pregnant? No, but most of my classmates didn't. So it obviously read somewhere. I don't know about now. I don't think I've ever seen. They still do it in health class, I believe, but I don't think I've seen no presentations where they sent kids to like bring kids to the auditorium and everybody got to, I don't know. I haven't seen it middle or high school, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, they brought in this lady. Well, one middle school they brought in a lady who had been on the news. She contracted HIV from a boyfriend who didn't tell her he had it, and she had unprotected sex with him. So that's why she was there. She was like, "Y'all need to have protected sex," and this is why. And she looked healthy, like nothing was wrong with her. No, it wasn't like the movie Philadelphia or anything. So, and then the one in high school, that one was even more troubling because this was the lady. She didn't get AIDS or HIV, but she had to go get a test because her husband cheated on her. And I want to say either the person he was with had it or he had it. It might have been the person he was with who had it. But she had to go get a test, and she was like, it was frightening because back in those days, you had to wait some days, like a week or two, to get the stuff back. Now they can swap the inner part of your cheek, and they can get it in an hour. Same thing in college. They had um the different, because they had a lot of different groups on campus, and they would do like awareness. So there was like different um uh groups uh giving out HIV awareness. There was a clinic on campus. Yes, when I was on campus and it was time for me to get my updated Depo-Provera shot, I went there. Or if I couldn't get it there, I went to the Planned Parenthood in Bryan. Do you know when I was in Bryan that there were people, when I went to the Planned Parenthood to get my Depo-Provera shot, there were people outside praying the rosary. And I didn't know what that was about until later on. They were like, oh, because that Planned Parenthood provided abortions. And I kind of figured it out because like I was sitting there, and I think the one in Houston, the one of the ones in Houston does too. Because I was like, I kept seeing, how you're in the waiting room and like they're like, oh, da 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 da, call your name, and then you're like, do you go this way? And so I noticed everybody kept going to the left, but then occasionally I'll see somebody go to the right, and it'd be a different type of walk, and I'm like, I think that's the door for the abortions, but I never said anything. I was like, they had to make. And then I went outside, and then there was a lady there praying the rosary. And then I found out through, I think it was I looking at a little Catholic something? And they're like, oh, that's what some of the pro-life Catholics do. They go, and so like there are people who will protest in front of the Planned Parenthood, like they have signs and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, that has to be, you're already going, you don't know, one, you don't know what they're going in there for. Two, if you are going in there for an abortion and you got someone else out with a sign saying you killing your baby, you're a murderer, like that's already a really harsh mentally procedure you got to go through. And then, also in the 90s, they was killing abortion doctors, you know. But then like y'all outside praying the rosary, praying, and I'm just like, um, I don't know. I just feel like I know prayer works. I know it does. I don't see y'all praying outside no nurseries, no daycare centers, no schools. Yeah, they bomb clinics. Yeah, right. Yeah, my aunt told me, my aunt, like when I was like in middle school, and she would tell me, she was like, yeah, there are people who took coat hangers and went in there and and then I have to, and then there's a if you go to my community wall, someone had posted this post. It was really unreal. Let me see if my other phone is yeah. Oh wow. What channel, what is it on HBO, Netflix, Hulu? Oh, but HBO has one called James. Would y'all like to do like uh a live reaction to that? I mean, I can't. I mean, we all watch it on our TVs, but then you hear me like talk about it. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, Miss Vincent, or they went to another county, or they went to the city. If you lived in the country, you went somewhere else, and that's why I said now. I said with this now, people gonna go to other. They're gonna go to other states, and in Texas, they're like, oh, you can't get an abortion past 6 weeks. I've never been pregnant. So those of you who've been pregnant in here, when did y'all find out that y'all was pregnant? Was it before 6 weeks, 6 weeks, or after 6 weeks? And that's what I mean too. And I believe they want this. They want the countries to go back again. And everyone keeps saying, "Yeah, just wear a condom." Then the accidents happen. We have to understand that some people are being abused. How's Erica after 6 weeks? Okay. Yeah, my dog is in my bed. I think he thinks this is his bed. All right, sorry, I'm back. Eric Holmes, Eric goes, I love him. I heard him stay in bed. Well, I came in there, he looked at me, and I went back, and now he's following me. Mrs. Vincent, in the way pregnancy due dates are kind of 2 weeks, including your period and after. By 6 8 weeks, I knew I was pregnant. Okay, see, And in Texas, they trying to penalize you. Like, let's say you're a woman and you couldn't get nobody to go with you, right? And you took an Uber or Lyft. Now they're trying to say, oh, if someone assists you in getting an abortion, they can go to jail. I'm just like, wait a minute. What is? But lo and behold, let one of their kids get one, get pregnant. Mm-hmm. All right. And I'm always noticing it's the ones. Maybe it's always the ones who are like in a very religious, pro family, and their kids is the ones that get pregnant. Like okay, or maybe they listen to some friends that you didn't listen to. But I'm just saying, like, do you not see the pattern? Okay, let me find the read to y'all what I posted on my community wall. Okay. 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 Where is it? Where is it? Oh, by the way, Lizzo is pledging 500K from her upcoming tour to Planned Parenthood and abortion rights. Live Nation agrees to match. That makes it $1 million. I like Lizzo. That's why you lose your celebrity. That's why I said this ain't over. People up here celebrating and everything. Okay. I'm a this is what I shared this last night. It says trigger warning. I'm literally stunned. This is a lady named C Dub. She says, before Roe versus Wade, she says, I worked in nursing homes for a good while. Let me tell you some of the stories these 70, 80, and 90 plus women told me. Okay, this is what they told her. It's before Roe versus Wade now. I kept telling my husband 6 kids was enough. After a while, I just started throwing them in the river. I knew it was my father, so I just left it in the hole in the outhouse. I just shoved dirt in its mouth and left it in the woods. I gave birth on my friend's couch. I don't know what she did with it. We never talked about it again. She said, there are so many more, but I will stop here. And see, I just thought like back in the day when the girl got pregnant, they just sent her either to the country or to a convent away, and she had a baby, gave it for adoption, and then came back home. Like it didn't happen, but ooh, yeah, I heard about that too. Hmm. So here's another one. I can confirm this 100%. I work at a nursing home. The elderly let stories like this slip all the time. There's also stories from women and girls who were sexually assaulted by relatives or strangers, and they got rid of the baby to save their own lives as a child would certainly cause strife for them in their household and community. And then there's the women and girls who can't get rid of the pregnancies and babies and are forced to keep the child and coexist with the person that SA them. Okay. This lady said, my mom is 73 and she has told me that was a dark time. I am 42 and I believe we will see more infanticides and suicide. So I think so. Okay, this is now this one, trigger warning. Trigger warning. No, the PHAD women were against 45. Wait, there were PHAD women who were loving on him? Okay, this is one lady. She says, I was just having a conversation with my mom, who was born in '66. We were discussing mom's generation. She was discussing how her grandmother wanted to get on birth control pills, but during that time, her husband didn't allow it to happen. This was during a time when the only way you can get birth control pill was if a husband or father allowed you to. Long story short, her grandmother ended up getting pregnant because she didn't have access to birth control pills, and of course, abortion wasn't legal at the time, and she ended up dying while giving birth. She had she already had over 15 kids. Mind you, this was the South, and they got married young back then. See, just oh yeah, y'all need to check out this movie on HBO. I don't know if it's called If These Walls Could Talk, and they talk about three different women who are approached with who have to deal with unplanned pregnancy. One in 1952, one in 1972, one in 1996. Oh wow. There's something called the Becky Bell story. A 17-year-old in 1988 became pregnant. She was a minor. In the state, a resident, she would have had to go before a judge to obtain an abortion. So she went to another state, got an abortion, ended up dying from septicemia, and massive infection from a back alley abortion at age 17. Down. Oh, and someone remembered this too. Talking about remember Katherine Jackson and Jackson American Dream, and they already had 6 kids, right? And Joe was like, "You're not pregnant again, are you, Katie?" And she was like, "I should be on birth control." He was like, "I don't believe in it." Like, really, sir? Yeah, right, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, and that's what I was saying, Christine, was that people get mad at Margaret Sanger, but she was an OBGYN nurse. And so she was watching all these women who are not middle and upper white women come in because they were basically tired from having a whole bunch of children. But she noticed that all the white women were like having 2 and 3 kids. So it was like, oh, they know what to do or they have the access. So that was her whole reason for starting Planned Parenthood. It was basically as an education to inform, like, hey, y'all, there's a way for y'all to start having all these kids. You know, it was about getting access to more people or people who had the money, you know. Okay, Summer Queen, me too. I have a friend who still calls her child cousin because her aunt raised a baby. Okay, yep. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm. Okay, this is another one, and I'm gonna stop here. It said, my grandparents had 12 kids in all. My mother was the last baby before my alcoholic grandfather grew tired of my grandmother turning up pregnant, even though he wouldn't stop having sex with her or use protection, and didn't believe in birth control. They were Catholic. Saying back in the day, Catholics, they were, and now you see these fundamentalist Mormons and these people like the Platts, you know, in that Quiverfield movement. They're like they believe in having a whole bunch of children, and yeah. Unfortunately, my grandmother must have ended up pregnant again, or at least My grandma thought she was because he beat her so bad she ended up in a coma for a week. See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all keep talking about. Yeah. My mother was still in diapers when this happened, but that beating traumatized my aunts and uncles. My grandmother had no control over her reproduction in her marriage. She popped out children because her husband pretty much forced her to, and then got mad when she kept getting pregnant. And then even now, you hear of cases where uh, young ladies, they're pregnant or someone doesn't know they're pregnant, and then they go have the baby in like the restroom or something, and like they leave the baby there or they leave the baby somewhere, and it's just like, were those cases where they didn't have access or they didn't have nobody where they can go and get help? And you see there are places now, they're like, oh, if you leave your baby at a hospital or a fire station. We need to protect our children, but our children need to be able to come to us, you know. So, mhm. And then this is a thing too. Um, someone close to me told me it happened to them. So you know how like you women can get their tubes tied, right? As a form of birth control. How about some states and doctors are not letting you have a tubal ligation after one kid? They're like, oh, you might want to have some more. Then after the second one, they let you get one. Like, what did this? Like, wait a minute. Yeah, we either gonna see some more. You know, like every time I watch, I swear I watch so many episodes of Special Victims Unit about some girl getting pregnant and just putting the baby somewhere. I saw one. It was so sad, but I was so happy that someone found it. So some girl put her baby in the dumpster, and these people were like dumpster divers or like recyclists, and they heard a cry. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if you in the FDLS code? What if you in the Platt? You see the Platts family? Oh, I gotta give y'all update on them. Uh, look, what if you in the Christ Apostolic Church? Don't want to have a baby, or Muslim family, or Mormon, because Mormon, and then there's still some old school Catholics out there who are like, yeah, we gonna have a big family. I met a lady, her man and wife, they had 10 sons. And they for real, and I really believe them. They believe that it was their calling from the Lord to have as many kids. They actually wanted more, and the lady couldn't have any more. Right. They had to wait to get their tubes tied. But this is the kicker though. I had know someone else that got a vasectomy. They didn't have to wait. They got it real young. And I was like, how did the hell that happen? Oh wow. I've only seen it in the movies. That really happened in the Easter basket? I have to get used to this. If you had a child and you at least had enough sense to put it in something or take it to a place where it could be safe, I'm like, you made the right decision. But keeping it in the toilet and throwing it in the dumpster, like, um, mm. I think I did see Just Another Girl on the IRT. Oh, you're gonna adopt Christine? That's great. Oh, okay, okay, Mrs. Fancy on that. Be careful. But it may also depend on how you do it. If you're gonna go to an agency or you know someone, but it is a process. You just gotta be careful with the ones that like I don't know. I guess I'm watching those movies and it's like, oh, I'm gonna give up my baby to this couple, and then the baby get here and you don't want to give it up. Like, okay, you said you're gonna give it up, so but right, right, it does. Wait, it was wrapped in a blanket and put in a basket. Wow, see, that was extra care. That was. I'm looking for someone that doesn't want a job. Oh, okay. Have you got one an agency? Okay, this one lady said, I got my tubes tied December 20th, 2021. My OBGYN asked me several times, are you sure, etc. And one of the many reasons I told her yes was because I didn't want to ever be in a situation where I had to make a decision to keep or abort a kid. And after today's overturn of Roe versus Wade is proof for me that I made the right decision. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. 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 Boy. Oh Lord. Sorry, boys over here. Okay. No, because I don't want no one to change their mind. Okay, good point. Okay, y'all. I've been home here long enough, boys. Oh, okay. That's my groceries, boy. Okay. I have my groceries delivered. I'm still kind of like, I don't feel like I'm ready to like get in my car, because the anesthesia and stuff. So, um, calm down, boy. Just calm down. Okay. Oh, Summer Queen said your boy got your boy. I'm sorry. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening to me for about an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, they sent me a text. They dropped off my. Thank you. Why women should be in control of their own lives. Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank y'all so much for listening to me. Thank you for this great discussion we had in this chat. Uh, After we finally got rid of those two knuckleheads from earlier, they just came over here just to mess with women early this morning about this. Just really. Okay. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. And if you see my friend Darren Moore, tell him happy birthday today. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.